Hey y'all, welcome back to the Hot Rod Dad channel. Glad you came. I hope you stay. Like, subscribe, comment, share, etc., etc. Y'all, it's a rainy, drizzly day here today in Tennessee. It's a great day to get out in the garage, do a little work, and I'm going to do something a little different on today's video. I'm going to do a tool review. This tool is something I got new here in the shop. It's been pretty handy. And the tool is the Swag Off-Road bandsaw table. So y'all stay tuned. I'm going to give you an honest review of the product. This is not a sponsored video. It's just my personal opinion. So y'all stay tuned. So I'm out here tonight working on the BLT, and I'm needing to cut out some parts. I've got the heater fired up here, and I just got this in the mail. FedEx just delivered that, and it is from Swag Off-Road. I like to see that right there. I come across this on Facebook, and I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to give this a try. Now, normally, I would probably just make this myself, but you know, for the cost of a couple hours work, this is already done for me. What this is a bracket here that you mount your portable bandsaw in, and it makes it a upright bandsaw, so you can cut small parts out. And it makes it pretty easy. This is your platform right here, and you just run your parts through the bandsaw right there. And here's all the different mounting holes for different brands and stuff. So this is what all came with it. I guess that's the hardware. Pretty simple attachment right there. But like I said, I could spend a couple hours making that, or I could just buy this one already made up and save myself some time. And I thought I'd give a small business a little bit of money. Just got this in the shop here in the past week or two. That's pretty cool, huh? 1935 Cadillac dash. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. Maybe just hang it on the wall. But anyway, let's get this mounted up and we'll see how it works. So right here's the saw I'll be using. This is a DeWalt. Not sure what the model number is on it. It's right there. DMW 120. So if you give them your model number of your saw, then they can fix you right up with which kit to buy. Working on the bed of Oscar here. It's my favorite workbench. A little bit of an update here on Oscar. Oscar unfortunately blew a head gasket, so I'm going to have to pull the engine out of Oscar and replace the head gasket on it and kind of freshen it up some. So first thing I'm going to do is take off that bracket right there. Just 2 bolts holds it on right there, and then this platform just bolts right onto it. Now they've got 2 different models. This one is just the platform itself, and that's because I'm going to bolt it to the saw, and then I will clamp it into the vise that you just saw me pick the saw up off of. So they also offer a model that has some legs on either side right there, so it makes it a bench top unit. So this would be easy enough if you wanted to retrofit it with some legs. I guess that'd be easy enough, or you can just use that flange right there on either side to clamp it into a vise. So I'm going to get this bolted onto the saw, and we'll see where we're at. So right here's the hardware packet that you get with the kit. And let's open this up and see what's in here. I'm not sure what that is. Probably something to hold your trigger down. Of course, You get the instructions right here. And what we got here, business card, swag off-road, and a cool sticker right there. Awesome, I love stickers. I think every gearhead loves stickers. So let's read up on this a little bit. Okay, it's got this right here shows all the different mounting holes, which ones you're supposed to use for what model saw that you have. So it looks like this one right here, probably mine, I think. DeWalt, yeah, DWM 120 right there. So looks like I'm going to be using that hole and that hole. So I'm going to get those located and we'll get her bolted up. Like I said, just 2 bolts right here, countersunk Allen head bolts that holds that bracket on. And they're not very difficult at all to take off. There we go. Well, you know, this thing, I don't know if I knew that or not. It's always been set in the same spot since I've had the saw, but it actually adjusts in and out right there. I don't know if I even knew that or not. Probably did and forgot about it. So basically that just bolts on right like that. So I'm going to have to get the little slider inside the saw lined up with those holes, and then I'll get that bolted on, and I'll check back with you in just a minute because it's going to take both hands to do this. Okay, so here we are all mounted up, and that took several minutes, not because it's terribly difficult, but because the instructions here that they sent are not exactly the right instructions. These are for the tabletop model right there. I don't know if there's some variation, but you can clearly see there's way more holes in this plate than there are on this one. So it took me just a few minutes to figure out exactly which holes to use and which groove. And this is kind of a universal thing that, you know, it's designed to fit several different saws right there. A little too universal, you know, in some respect. But you have to use their screws. The screws that come with your saw will not work. They do not sink down in there deep enough. Those are Phillips head screws, and I had to use just a little shorty screwdriver to tighten those up because the angle of the saw, you can't really get into those screws, tighten them up real good. So I just used a little shorty screwdriver. This is the little piece of Velcro that they had, and that is actually to control the speed, as you can see right there. A little cheesy, but it works. One thing I see right off the bat, there's no guard or anything with this, so you're gonna have to be really careful not to get your finger in there. The other thing you might want to consider is they sell a foot switch as an option that you might want to add to your unit. Now, this one is, like I said, to use in my vise, which is the way I've got it right here, and it works out well for that, but as I stated earlier, it'd be easy enough to add the legs to if you wanted to, or they sell the kit that has the legs as well. And you can see right here that is this model right here. And they actually, the tabletop model comes with these grooves right here in the side that you can use a guide with. So if you want to cut a good straight piece of metal, or a good straight edge on a piece of metal, you can have that guide to guide it through there. So that's another option you might want to consider. This was $80 shipped to the house. It's a very heavy construction. It's a 1/4 inch solid plate right there. Very heavy duty. I think it will work well. So it's very well constructed. A little bit too universal, I think. I could have had some little better instructions, but overall, I think this is going to work out nice. So the only thing left now to do is to run some metal through there and see what we got. So now that I've had the bandsaw table for a couple of weeks, I've cut out quite a few parts on it. Here's one of the parts that I cut out on it. This is an arm for a friction shock on the BLT. So here's a little tab I cut out. That goes on the wishbone, and it's part of the shock system as well. And then I've got this little part right here. It welds onto the frame, and that will be the part of the friction shock that the arm mounts to. So those all turned out really great. And let's talk a little bit about the pros and cons of the bandsaw table. So first and foremost, I would say as far as pros go, it's made in the USA. I like that a lot. It's a small business. I don't mind supporting a small business for a quality part that's made in the United States. Another big pro for me is that it is very rugged and very well built. That is a definite plus for me. And it's pretty versatile as far as cutting out small parts like that. Obviously, there's lots of ways to cut out parts. A plasma cutter would be a great option, and this is a great alternative to a plasma cutter. Ideally, I'd love to have a CNC plasma cutter, but this is a great, inexpensive alternative to that. Another definite pro for me on this particular model is that I can clamp it right there into my vise at a good, comfortable working height. It's just about waist height right there. And I can just work all day long running parts through there if I need to. Another thing I really like about it is by just simply removing those two screws right there and bolting the guide back into it, then I have the portability of the bandsaw back. So I really like those two things about it. Now right here you can see all the extra holes and this extra slot right here. And when I start talking about the cons, I'll enlighten you a little bit about those. Now let's talk about the cons a little bit. So the first couple I'm going to talk about has nothing to do with the quality of the product, but it is just an inherent disadvantage if you're using a bandsaw table like this. So you're limited as far as the throat of the bandsaw. In my case, I'm using just a shallow cut bandsaw. They have deep cut bandsaws, so you're limited as to the size of the part that you can put in through the bandsaw, and that's determined by the throat depth of the saw itself. Second, you're kind of limited as far as if you're cutting a round part like that that's got a lot of shape. Inherently, bandsaws do not like to cut around curves. They're designed to cut pretty straight. So you're going to have to, if you're going around a radius like this or like this, you're going to have to, you can curve it a little bit, and then once you start running off of your line, you're going to have to make a relief cut and then start again. And you may have to do that quite a lot around a tight radius part like this. On this part, I cut out the long straight edges right here with a cutoff wheel, and then I just kind of got it roughed into shape, and then I went around the edges with the bandsaw. It worked out pretty good, but it takes quite a bit of time. So that's a definite con. Again, it has nothing to do with the quality of the product. it's just an inherent limitation as far as the type of saw that we're talking about here. Secondly, as far as the cons go, I would say the kit is it's a universal fit, a little too universal in my opinion. There was one time I was actually cutting some a radius around a part like this, and like I said, because you have to kind of cut some relief cuts and then go back, you'll have some small slivers that you're going back and trimming off. I was cutting off one of those small slivers, and it actually fell down into the saw there where the blade runs in through the table, and it got caught in the rollers in the blade guide, and it locked the blade down hard and it was actually burning the tire off of the wheel before I could get to the trigger to turn it off. One con, if you consider it a con, is the lack of safety on the thing. It's not doesn't have any safety guards or anything like that. That's not really an issue to me. You know, I'm smart enough to keep my fingers away from the blade. Let's see. I think that's about it. Overall, it's a really great product. It's a great inexpensive alternative to a plasma cutter or a CNC plasma cutter, or a cutoff wheel in lots of applications, because you know, cutting a thick piece of metal like that, you know, you're going to go through a lot of cutoff wheels. So it's going to save you some cutoff wheels. Overall, I think it's a really great product. I'm going to give it probably a 9 out of 10. I would recommend it to anybody. It's very handy in the shop. And I will continue to use it for years to come. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And until next time.
Y'all get out there